Today I'm going to be building a storage silo. This is going to be for bulk storage, meaning a spot to store items from my farms. The reason I'm doing this is that if I connect my farms to my storage system, it will probably overload it. At least for me, it makes sense to have storage for my farmed items and another one for everything else. Welcome to today's episode, and in order to work on the storage silos like I'm planning to do, this is going to be a lot of work because I had to work on pretty much all of my farms around my base. The first thing I did was put item sorters on all the farms that will go into the storage silos. This way I can separate the items that go into my storage and the silo. With the wheat farms, this meant separating the wheat from the wheat seeds, bread, and bone meal. I also made it so the wheat seeds and bread went into the composter, resulting in only bone meal and wheat coming out of the wheat farm. The iron farm, I also separated the poppies and the iron ingots. Most of the other farms I didn't need a sorter. I did put one on the melon and pumpkin farm, but this was unnecessary as it was easier to sort them in the storage silo. While I was working on the farm, I also removed some of the weird blocks around the melon and pumpkin farm and the sugarcane farm. I also had to fix the iron farm as it isn't producing iron ingots, and I've used up most of my supply of iron. To do this, I decided to change the exterior as I got bored of it, and it would make it easier to put zombies into the farm. After that, I placed a zombie in the iron farm to get it working again, although I think I forgot to name him. So one thing that I should explain is I won't be putting wool into the storage silos. That's because I plan to eventually dye these guys to 16 different colors and sort them into different chests, and it just doesn't make sense to put them into storage silos. What I'm going to do is build a giant tunnel. So the storage silos are going to be here. I think this is a great spot for them because it's kind of an awkward spot, so it's perfect to set them up there. And I'm going to have a tunnel that's going to go all the way that way and then that way. It's going to be underground. I'm going to try to keep it as close to the pass as possible. And I'm also going to have an opening on this side, so it comes from underground and feeds into the silos. Originally, I did have a rail system set up, so this feeds into my storage system. So the reason I'm not doing the bulk storage into my storage system is it'll just overload the system. So it makes sense to have a bulk storage and a storage system. I need some space for this, even though I have quite a bit here already. And the thing is, this retaining wall, it's got nothing on the other side, so it makes sense to push this back a bit. I have to cut into this smelter. So if I cut into this building, that's not a huge problem because this bamboo part of this smelter is not producing enough bamboo to actually use for my fuel for the smelter. So eventually I'm going to have to build a bamboo farm. So did you get all that? Basically, I'm just going to move some stuff over and deconstruct a building a bit. But it kind of feels like this episode I'm destroying more than I'm building, but hopefully I'm building actually more. Cool, so everything is laid out. So the tunnel's going to be down there, the rail's going to run down here. These squares are where the silos are going to be. There are 7 of them. So the next thing is digging the tunnel. So I've dug out the first part of the tunnel and I'll show you guys. It's pretty crazy looking. So you go right in here, it goes all the way down. And then it keeps going. There's a cave here, keeps going further, all the way down here. So it goes quite a ways. So Of course, instead of making it simple and just having a stone, you know, not worrying about it, it's hidden, no one's gonna see it. No, I'm gonna dig it all out, and I'm going to actually place a bunch of blocks for something I may not actually go in ever. So the plan for this is to do a design like this. So the rails are gonna sit on top of these deep slate tiles, I think that's what it is, polished deep slate, and then I'm gonna have some kind of filler in between, and then it's gonna be a quartz kind of arch on the top. And then I also had to put lighting in, so I'm gonna put some frog lights in to make sure this is lit up, although it doesn't matter because it's all gonna be rails, so mobs can't really spawn in this area. So yeah, let's get started. This is gonna take a while because I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing with this part of it. It might just end up being wood. And the tunnel is complete. This is pretty crazy, the amount of time I put into this. So it kind of ended up differently than I was expecting. So I ended up sticking with a lot of the polished blocks, as you can tell here. I did a lot of deep slate. The ceiling is a lot of cracked blocks. You can see deep slate tiles, black stone bricks, and deep slate bricks, all cracked. And I used some soul torches because I thought that would work a lot better. So I think everything's lit up. At least with this, there's enough light so that mobs can't spawn. Looks pretty crazy. It goes all the way down here and over here. So I still haven't built the tunnels going to the farms, and also I haven't put the rail down, which is going to be the next step. Another thing with this was I thought it would be really funny to do a certain design, well, at least it was funny to me, was to use these magenta glazed terracotta because they are probably the ugliest block in the game. Maybe sponges are worse, but I thought it'd be funny just to have arrows pointing in one direction, but it just looked too weird. But now I got a ton of useless magenta glazed terracotta blocks. Maybe one day I'll use them. And I've completed the next step, which is hard to tell because all this looks pretty similar. But I've dug out tunnels. This one leads to the storage system. This one leads to the iron farm, the cactus farm, and the slime farm. And then further down, there's one for the wheat farm, the sugarcane farm, and the pumpkin and melon farm. So I've been digging a lot and connecting everything and keeping the same building style, which is using up all of my deep slate blocks and iron somehow. The circuit for the loading of the mine carts is pretty much the exact same one I use, it's just a reverse. So what I mean is there is the hopper, the comparator, it goes through there, redstone torch lights this, repeater goes through and then powers the rail. So what that means is when this is empty, it will power the rail. So everything has to be emptied into it. And I'm also using minecart chests because that allows the items to slowly travel into the chest. The problem with hoppers, minecart hoppers, is they're both pushing and pulling, so sometimes they're going so fast that the comparator can't even pick it up. And for unloading this, it's basically going to be the reverse of this. So basically, it measures the hopper down here and then fires a signal through that will power this rail when the hopper underneath is empty. So the next thing is going to be a bit tricky. What I'm going to be doing is building all the circuitry for the storage silo. So while I was doing all that digging, I decided it would probably be a better idea just to do one building rather than 7. Basically quality over quantity. So for this, I'm going to have to do the system so that it can unload the mine carts into it, the item elevators, and then the system to actually measure it so that it lights up redstone lamps to say how much storage is in it. The storage silo, at least the circuits inside, are complete. So let's show you how this works. So first thing is the mine carts are going to be here. So they are unloaded into here, same circuit as before. Wait, is that right? Yeah, that's right, okay. So it will unload everything. There's a hopper line that leads to the item elevator over there. The item elevator goes up to here. There's an item sorter, and you can see they go into each slot. So there are 7 right now. I can always expand this. It's pretty easy to expand longer that way if I want to. And here is the circuits to light the redstone lamps, when the containers are full. So how this works is using the comparator right here. So the comparator will output a signal when there is something in a container. So for example, in this case, a chest or a hopper. So with this, you make sure that this block is weakly powered using the comparator. If it was strongly powered, it would power all of the redstone lamps. Over here, there is a comparator leading into a block, the repeater, and then the redstone dust into a block. So each level will only light up when there's either items in this hopper or in the chest below. And I repeated that all the way down. And the next thing is I have to set up the rail system for this. So I have all the ends of each rail system set up. It's more just putting in the actual powered rails to make sure the minecarts are go and making sure everything lines up, because it's a bit tricky because I have to make sure some of the items go into my storage system and some go into the storage silo. So I've laid out all the rails, I've powered them, I hope I spread them out enough. This is a lot of rails and I'm not used to doing this, so there may be some mistakes along the way. So now all I gotta do is put the minecart chest and see if this actually works. So let's check where the iron is. So you can't tell how much is in there, but we will put that here. And it goes the wrong way, which is great. Let's throw the other one here. Now let's see how this works. So it's loading up. It's putting the poppies in there, and I don't know how much is in there. Okay, good. So once it's done, it should go and then fill into my storage system. So now I just gotta go and put each minecart chest on there. So this is the one I'm worried about. So let's check if this one is working correctly. So the melon slices. So there's a ton of melon slices in there. So this may not work correctly. So I might have to clean this out and then start it over again. And I think the same thing with the pumpkins. Okay, the pumpkins aren't as bad, so that one should work. And the sugarcane might have some issues too. So let's see, here comes the slime one, I believe. So it goes. Probably didn't drop that much in it. I just remembered I forgot to do the item elevator, so nothing is going in here right now. Okay, so the item elevator is working, and I realize I think I need basically an overflow in case the hopper cannot handle this, since it seems to be having a bit of an issue at the moment. So it's interesting, looks like it's all slowly filling up. You can see this one turning on and off because it is going through the hopper, which is what I'm measuring right now. And it's definitely working. I guess I should check what the furthest one away is, which is the wheat one. So I'm not sure if that's working correctly. I should probably double check and see if all of the minecarts are working though. So as I said, it looks like this thing is having issues because it is full, but this chest is still full, so the entire system is probably full with melon slices, so I'm probably gonna have to clear that out before this properly works. So the other one is the sugarcane, which is full, so let's just clear that out. Hopefully it'll fire. So I'll probably have to keep doing this until I'm pretty sure all of the hoppers and chests are empty of stuff. So there it goes. So now I think the last one is the wheat one, which might be having a bit of an issue. So it looks like that minecart chest is not working properly. I spaced out the powered rails a bit too much, and it looks like I'm having the same issue with this thing. So next thing and the last thing I gotta do is decorate this storage silo. So I have a couple ideas for this, but I want to do is take my time and make sure I get it right. I don't want to rush it. So this is what it looks like now. And there's the completed storage silo, although it's more storage than silo necessarily. So you can see there are the spots for the rails to unload their items into the silo. It's kind of weird looking, but you can see the hoppers and the blocks behind this are powered. There's a workstation here that I'm going to put some stuff like stone cutters, so if I'm just around I can use it. I think this kind of works with the two different levels. I try to use as many different blocks as possible that work together. So stuff like stone, andesite, cobblestone, stone brick, and polished andesite. And I used white terracotta, although it kind of looks like pink to me, but maybe I'm just weird that way. And then you can see the part over here. I still think this needs some a little more detail, but this works at this moment. So you can see this is working right now. I have a good amount of iron in here, lots of wheat, pumpkins, a lot of melon slices. I'm not sure why that one isn't working right now, but you can see I have a good amount of melon slices, not that much cactus, lots of sugarcane, and a little bit of slime. So this thing is definitely working well. I always think the best way to get a sense of a building is flying in, and I think this side looks cool. I think that one looks a lot better. And let's just, for one last run, let's go through the tunnel. So it goes all the way down here. Down there you can see all the mine carts are moving, and this is the spot where the wheat is. And down. I think that is enough for today's episode. That was a lot of work digging the tunnels, decorating, build the storage silos, and everything worked perfectly. There wasn't any real issues in building this. So thank you guys for watching.